Welcome to day 30, not the end, a beginning. If you've been here throughout this series, I want you to pause for a moment and recognize something important. You stayed, even through discomfort, even through resistance, even through exhaustion, fear, shame, doubt, and uncertainty. That matters. This series was never really about money. It was about identity, about healing the way we see ourselves, about learning that abundance begins internally before it ever appears externally. Today is not about becoming perfect. It's about realizing you were never failing as badly as you thought you were. You were becoming. You made it. 30 days of becoming, 30 days of rewiring, 30 days of unlearning what was never yours, 30 days of becoming who you always were. Before we go any further, I want you to pause and really take this in. You made it. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but honestly. For 30 days, we talked about fear, scarcity, shame, comparison, money, identity, healing, gratitude, self-worth, and what it means to begin again. And through all of it, something deeper was happening. You were not just consuming content. You were slowly becoming more aware of yourself. You were questioning old beliefs, noticing old patterns, seeing where survival mode had shaped your thinking, and maybe for the first time in a long time, you started imagining that your life could feel different. Not because you suddenly became someone new, but because you began connecting with who you were underneath the fear, pressure, exhaustion, and conditioning. That is what rewiring really is. You were never broken, only becoming. You were always whole beneath the noise. The healing was remembering who you always were. For so long, many of us believed we were broken. Broken because we struggled financially. Broken because we felt anxious. Broken because we carried shame. Broken because life became heavier than we expected. But what if that was never the truth? What if beneath the stress, beneath the fear, beneath the conditioning, there was always something whole within you? Not perfect, not finished, but worthy, capable, human, still becoming. This journey was never about creating a brand new version of yourself. It was about peeling away the survival patterns, the scarcity thinking, the self-judgment, the fear-based identity, and the belief that your hardships defined your worth. Healing is not becoming someone more valuable. Healing is remembering your value was never gone to begin with. And I think many people watching this series are beginning to feel that truth for the first time in a very long time. There are things we can survive that cannot fully be explained with words. Seasons that changed us quietly. Moments where we carried fear privately, grief privately, financial pressure privately, exhaustion privately. And yet somehow we kept going. I think many people underestimate how much courage it takes simply to continue showing up when life feels heavy. Not loudly, not perfectly, but faithfully. Some lessons could only be learned through experience. Some healing could only happen in stillness. Some growth could only happen after everything unnecessary became too heavy to carry anymore. And if you're here today, that means something inside you chose not to give up, even when hope felt far away. That deserves to be honored. Transformation is rarely one giant moment. Most of the time, it happens quickly in the decisions nobody sees, choosing not to give up, speaking to yourself with more compassion, pausing before reacting, trying again after disappointment, resting instead of punishing yourself, telling the truth about how you feel, believing your future can still change. Those moments matter. And over time, small shifts become identity shifts. I think many people spend years waiting for some dramatic breakthrough while overlooking the quiet ways they are already changing. But healing often looks ordinary while it's happening. A deeper breath, a calmer response, a more honest choice, a softer voice. That is rewiring too. And maybe the greatest transformation of all is learning how to come back to yourself after years of abandoning who you truly are. So much of the world teaches us to approach ourselves like problems that need solving. Fix your body, fix your finances, fix your emotions, fix your life, fix your worth. But healing does not happen through constant self rejection. And maybe that is one of the greatest lessons of this entire journey. You were never unworthy of love, peace, abundance, belonging, or purpose. You were carrying experiences that shaped the way you saw yourself. Survival shaped you, fear shaped you, scarcity shaped you, and pain shaped you. But those things were never your identity. Beneath all of it, there was always something whole within you. And perhaps this journey was not about becoming someone new at all. Perhaps it was about remembering your strength, your humanity, your voice, your worth, your hope, and your capacity to begin again. That is what becoming truly means. Sometimes we only recognize growth after we survive the season that changed us. While we are inside the storm, it often feels endless. We question whether things will ever feel lighter again. But many of the hardest seasons of life are also the seasons that reshape us most deeply. Not because suffering itself is beautiful, but because hardship often strips away what was unsustainable. It teaches us what truly matters, what truly supports us, who we truly are beneath performance and survival. And eventually, one day, we look back and realize the storm did not destroy us, it revealed us. The path ahead may still contain uncertainty, but now you walk it differently, more aware, more grounded, more compassionate towards yourself, more intentional about the life you are creating. And that changes everything. Before we close this journey, I want to leave you with a few truths that I hope you carry forward long after this series ends. First, you are enough. Not someday, not when your finances improve, not when your body changes, not when your life finally feels perfect. Now, your worth has never depended on your productivity, income, appearance, or ability to hold everything together. Second, healing is not linear. Some days you will feel strong. Some days old fears will return. Some days you will question your progress. That does not erase your growth. Transformation is rarely a straight line. It is a practice of returning to yourself again and again with greater awareness and compassion. Third, peace is not something reserved for people who have figured everything out. Peace begins in small moments, a deeper breath, a calmer thought, a more honest decision, a softer way of speaking to yourself. You do not need a perfect life to begin experiencing peace. You only need the willingness to stop fighting yourself every step of the way. Finally, you belong here, in this world, in this life, in this moment of renewal and grace. There are moments in life when hardship can make us feel disconnected from ourselves, from hope, from other people, from our purpose. Sometimes pain convinces us that we are somehow separate or that we have fallen behind life itself. But I want you to hear this deeply. You belong here. Not once you become more successful, not once you heal perfectly, not once you finally figure everything out. Now, in this moment, as a human being learning, growing, stumbling, healing, and becoming, your life matters. Your presence matters. Your voice, your story, your experiences, your lessons, your heart, all of it carries meaning. And maybe renewal is not about becoming someone completely different. Maybe renewal is allowing yourself to soften enough to believe you are still worthy of love, peace, connection, purpose, and a future that feels meaningful. Grace is not something reserved for perfect people. Grace meets us in the middle of our humanity, in the rebuilding, in the uncertainty, in the beginning again. And no matter where you find yourself today, you still belong in the life that is unfolding before you. Let's reflect on your becoming, not just on the videos, but on yourself. Over these 30 days, something shifted, maybe dramatically, maybe quietly. But awareness changes people. So ask yourself honestly, what are you carrying forward from this season of your life? Maybe it's greater self-awareness. Maybe it's compassion toward yourself. Maybe it's the realization that your life is not over simply because it became difficult. And what are you ready to release? The shame, the comparison, the belief that you are behind, the pressure to become someone else in order to deserve peace? And perhaps the most important question of all, who are you becoming now? Not who fear told you to be, not who survival required you to be, but who you truly are beneath all of that. Because I believe many people are beginning to discover that healing is not losing yourself, it is returning to yourself. If there is one thing I hope you carry with you after these 30 days, it is this. Your life is not over because it became difficult. You are not disqualified because you struggled. You are not behind because your path looked different than someone else's. And you do not need to become a completely different person to create a meaningful life. You only need the willingness to keep returning to yourself with honesty, awareness, compassion, and intention. This series was never about perfection. It was about remembering you still have choices. You still have worth. You still have dreams. You still have the ability to begin again. And maybe beginning again now feels different. Not from panic, not from shame, not from desperation, but from deeper understanding. More grounded, more awake, more aligned with the life you truly want to create. So as this chapter closes, take a breath. Honor how far you've come and trust that the person you are becoming is already unfolding one choice at a time. I simply want to say thank you. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking through these conversations with openness, honesty, and courage. And most importantly, thank you for continuing to show up for yourself, even on the days you doubted yourself, even on the days you felt exhausted, even on the days growth felt invisible. That matters. I think many people underestimate the courage it takes to keep trying after disappointment, to keep hoping after hardship, to keep believing life can still change. But every time you choose awareness over avoidance, compassion over self judgment, and intentionality over hopelessness, something inside you shifted. And whether you fully realized it yet or not, that matters deeply. Maybe that is what this entire journey was really about: coming home to yourself. Not the version shaped by fear, not the version built entirely around survival, not the version constantly trying to prove worthiness, but the quieter, truer part of you that was always there beneath the noise. The part of you that still hopes, still dreams, still longs for peace, meaning, connection, and purpose. You were never as lost as you believed. You were finding your way back to yourself. And no matter where life takes you from here, may you continue choosing awareness, compassion, gratitude, truth, healing, and intentional living, one moment at a time. You are abundantly rewired. Welcome home.